Imagine a company born in a garage, not just to sell computers, but to challenge the way humanity thinks, creates, communicates, and connects. A company that nearly collapsed into irrelevance, only to rise again and become the most valuable brand in history. A company that didn't just build products, it built culture. This is not the story of technology. This is the story of rebellion, obsession, genius, failure, redemption, and vision. This is the story of Apple.
In the early 1970s, Silicon Valley was not yet the global tech capital it would become. It was a quiet stretch of suburban California, dotted with hobbyists, dreamers, and engineers who believed computers should belong to people, not corporations. Among them was Steve Jobs, an adopted child raised in Mountain View, California. Jobs was brilliant, restless, stubborn, spiritual, and unpredictable. He dropped out of college, traveled to India searching for enlightenment, experimented with Zen Buddhism, and believed deeply that technology should be beautiful, not just functional. His closest friend was Steve Wozniak, shy, brilliant, gentle, and obsessed with electronics. Wozniak could build machines from scratch. Jobs could sell dreams. Together, they formed one of the most legendary partnerships in business history. In 1976, in the garage of Jobs' parents' house in Altos, California, the two Steves, along with a lesser-known third partner, Ronald Wayne, founded Apple Computer Company. Wayne soon sold his shares for $800, a decision that would later cost him billions. Their first product, the Apple I, wasn't revolutionary by modern standards, but it was revolutionary for its time. Unlike most computers, which required users to assemble kits themselves, the Apple I came fully built. It was sold to hobbyists through a local store called the Byte Shop. Wozniak built the machines by hand. Jobs convinced suppliers to give them parts on credit. They sold their possessions. Wozniak sold his calculator, Jobs sold his van to fund production. They weren't building computers, they were building access. Their breakthrough came in 1977 with the Apple II, one of the first mass-produced personal computers with a keyboard, color graphics, and plastic casing. It wasn't just powerful, it was friendly. It felt like something ordinary people could use. And they were right. The Apple II became a massive success, especially in schools and small businesses. By 1980, Apple went public. At just 25 years old, Steve Jobs was worth over $200 million. Apple was no longer a startup, it was a phenomenon. But success didn't satisfy Jobs. He wanted more than dominance. He wanted meaning. He believed computers should not feel cold and technical. They should feel human. He wanted machines that people loved. In 1979, Jobs visited Xerox PARC, a research lab that had invented technologies far ahead of their time, including the graphical user interface, mouse, and window-based computing. Xerox didn't realize what they had. Jobs did. He immediately understood that this was the future of computing. No more typing cryptic commands, no more intimidating screens. Computers could be visual, intuitive, friendly. Jobs took the idea and pushed Apple to build something no one else dared to attempt. That product was the Macintosh. In January 1984, Apple launched the Macintosh with one of the most famous commercials in advertising history, aired during the Super Bowl. It portrayed Apple as a rebel smashing conformity, positioning itself against corporate giants like IBM. The ad didn't even show the product, just the idea. And that idea was powerful. The Macintosh introduced the world to the mouse, icons, fonts, and desktop computing. It wasn't just a computer, it was a revolution in how humans interacted with machines. But behind the scenes, Apple was falling apart. Jobs was brilliant, but also difficult, demanding, obsessive, and volatile. He clashed constantly with Apple's CEO, John Sculley, whom Jobs himself had recruited from Pepsi with the legendary line, "Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or do you want to change the world?" By 1985, tensions exploded. The board sided with Sculley. Steve Jobs, the company's co-founder, was stripped of power and pushed out of Apple. At just 30 years old, the man who built Apple was gone from Apple. It should have been the end of the story. It wasn't. Jobs left Apple and founded Next, a computer company focused on building high-end machines for education and research. Though Next computers never achieved major commercial success, their software would later become the foundation of modern Apple operating systems. At the same time, Jobs bought a struggling animation studio from George Lucas for $10 million. That studio was Pixar. At first, Pixar nearly failed. Jobs poured millions of his own money into keeping it alive. Then, in 1995, Pixar released Toy Story, the world's first fully computer-animated fair film. It became a global sensation. Jobs was now not just a tech entrepreneur, he was a media visionary. Meanwhile, Apple without Jobs was slowly dying. Throughout the late 1980s and early 1990s, Apple lost its identity. It released dozens of confusing products. Leadership changed repeatedly. Innovation stalled. Microsoft's Windows operating system dominated the PC market. Apple's market share collapsed. Losses mounted. By 1997, analysts openly predicted Apple's bankruptcy. The company that once promised to change the world was now fighting to survive. Then came the comeback, one of the greatest in business history. In 1996, Apple bought Next, not for its hardware, but for its software, bringing Steve Jobs back to the company he founded. At first, he returned as an advisor, but within months, he took control. He immediately cut 70% of Apple's product line. He shut down projects. He fired executives. He simplified everything. And then he did something extraordinary. He changed Apple's soul. In 1997, Apple launched its legendary Think Different campaign, honoring rebels, artists, dreamers, and visionaries like Einstein, Gandhi, and Martin Luther King Jr. Apple wasn't selling computers, it was selling identity. At the same time, Jobs unveiled a product that would save the company, the iMac. Brightly colored, translucent, beautifully designed, and shockingly simple to use, the iMac looked like nothing else on the market. It didn't look like a computer, it looked like the future. And it worked. Sales exploded. Apple became profitable again. The comeback had begun. But Jobs wasn't finished.
He believed computers alone weren't enough. He saw the next battlefield: music. In 2001, Apple launched the iPod. At a time when digital music was chaotic, filled with piracy, terrible interfaces, and clunky devices, Apple offered something magical: 1,000 songs in your pocket. Paired with iTunes, the iPod transformed how the world consumed music. The white earbuds became a cultural symbol. Apple wasn't just a tech company anymore. It was shaping lifestyle. Then, in 2007, Jobs unveiled the product that would change civilization: the iPhone. On stage, Jobs famously said Apple was introducing 3 revolutionary devices: an iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator, then revealed they were all the same product. The iPhone wasn't just a phone. It was a pocket computer, a camera, a music player, a web browser, a gaming console, a social hub. It erased keyboards, replaced buttons with touch, and turned glass into an interface.
Entire industries, cameras, GPS devices, MP3 players vanished almost overnight. And Apple had just redefined reality. Then came the App Store in 2008, opening Apple's platform to developers around the world. Millions of apps followed. Entire economies were born. Startups became giants. A new digital world emerged, carried in everyone's pocket. In 2010, Apple released the iPad, bridging the gap between phones and laptops. Skeptics mocked it as just a big iPhone, but consumers loved it. It reshaped education, media, healthcare, and entertainment. By now, Apple wasn't competing with tech companies. It was competing with time itself, redesigning how humans worked, learned, communicated, relaxed, and lived. Behind Apple's success stood Jobs' obsession with perfection. He cared deeply about details invisible to users, the inside of machines, the curve of corners, the sound of packaging opening. He believed products should feel alive. He pushed teams mercilessly, demanded excellence relentlessly, and rejected mediocrity absolutely. But in 2004, Jobs was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He kept it private at first, continuing to work. He underwent surgery, then returned stronger than ever, overseeing the iPhone, iPad, and Apple's most revolutionary period. But his health slowly declined. In 2011, Jobs resigned as CEO, naming Tim Cook, Apple's operations genius, as his successor. On October 5, 2011, Jobs died at age 56. The world mourned. But Apple did not collapse. Under Tim Cook, Apple expanded globally, strengthened its supply chain, and doubled down on privacy, services, and sustainability. It launched the Apple Watch, AirPods, Apple Silicon chips, Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, and reshaped wearables, computing, and entertainment once again. In 2018, Apple became the first publicly traded company to reach a $1 trillion valuation, then $2 trillion, then $3 trillion. A company born in a garage became the most valuable business in human history. But Apple's story is not about money. It's about belief. The belief that technology should serve humanity, not dominate it. The belief that design matters. The belief that simplicity is powerful. The belief that creativity belongs to everyone. Apple didn't win by building faster processors alone. It won by building emotion into machines, by making technology feel human, by making tools that disappear so creativity can appear. From two friends soldering circuit boards in a garage to billions of people carrying Apple devices in their pockets, Apple didn't just build products, it built a relationship with the future. And perhaps that is its greatest legacy. Not that Apple changed technology, but that Apple changed us.
This documentary was created by Explainary, where we don't just tell stories, we explain how the world was built. If you want more powerful stories about brands, leaders, empires, and ideas that shaped humanity, subscribe to Explainary, because the future begins with understanding the past.